All right, let's dive right in. Today, we're going to break down a really powerful formula for building wealth, especially when the economy feels, a little shaky. If you've been feeling like the old rules of money are just completely broken, then you are in exactly the right place. We are going to walk through a brand new playbook for a whole new economic world.
So let's kick things off with this quote. Buy when there's blood on the streets, even when the blood is your own. Whoa, it's intense, right? But it perfectly captures the core idea for today. Those moments that feel the absolute hardest financially, they often hide the biggest opportunities to build real wealth. And that counterintuitive idea, well, it's the key to everything we're about to unpack.
First up, let's just get this out of the way. If you're feeling anxious about money, you are not crazy. It really is harder out there. The financial playbook our parents and grandparents used, it's officially broken. But, just like that opening quote suggested, that is not a reason to panic. Nope, it's a reason to get smart. And look, this right here, this is why those old rules are totally busted. We've all heard the advice, right? Just buy a house, it's the best investment. And hey, that was great advice for a different generation. But for us, since then, wages have maybe doubled, but housing costs have shot up by 9 times. That old math just doesn't add up anymore. The big takeaway here is you just can't use an old map to navigate a new world. So when everyone else is panicking because the old rules aren't working, that's your opening. The real question isn't when are things going to get better? The question is, what smart moves can I make right now while everyone else is running scared? And this classic from Warren Buffett just nails the strategy. Think about it. A few years ago, when the market was on fire, everybody was greedy. Now, there's a lot of fear. And that fear means assets are basically going on sale, from stocks to even housing in some areas. This is the moment to start paying close attention and get ready to make a move. So, where do we even begin? Well, we start with the most fundamental step of all, learning to speak the secret language of money. Before you can even think about earning more or investing, you've got to achieve what they call financial literacy. You can't win a game if you don't know the rules, right? And you definitely can't succeed in a foreign country if you don't speak the language. Money is exactly the same. Most of us were taught, maybe how to balance a checkbook, but that's where the lesson stopped. To really build wealth, you have to go so much deeper. Let me give you a super simple but powerful example of what I mean. Why should you almost never use a debit card? Well, think about it. When you swipe that debit card, it's your money on the line. You build zero credit, you get zero perks, and the fraud protection is pretty weak. But a credit card, as long as you pay it off every month, uses the bank's money to build your credit score, which is the foundation of wealth today, all while giving you rewards and way better fraud protection. It's a no-brainer. And this leads us to a huge secret that wealthy people understand. Not all debt is bad. There's a massive difference between good debt and bad debt. Bad debt is for stuff that loses value, like a brand new car that depreciates the second you drive it off the lot. Good debt, on the other hand, is using other people's money through credit to buy assets that make you money, like a rental property. But it all starts with building that rock-solid credit score. Okay, so once you're fluent in the language of money, what's next? The next step is to seriously level up your earning power. And there are 2 main ways to do this: climbing the ladder in your career or starting a side hustle, the smart way. But first, we have to bust this huge myth from the whole hustle culture movement. If just working hard made you rich, the person running your local 24-hour laundromat would be as wealthy as Jeff Bezos. It's not about working more hours, it's about increasing the value of each of those hours. This growth ladder shows you exactly how to increase your value at your job. You start out as a bricklayer, just focused on your one specific task. To earn more, you have to become a builder who can connect different tasks, then an architect who can design new things for the business, and finally, a city planner who sees the entire big picture. It's all about expanding your vision, not just your effort. All right, now for that second path, the side hustle. And I'm going to give you some advice that goes against everything you see on social media. That whole burn the boats, go all in strategy, it's a myth pushed by the tiny handful of people who got lucky. For pretty much everyone else, the smartest and safest way to build a business is by keeping your day job. And you don't have to take my word for it. The numbers are pretty shocking. One study showed that startups are 33% more likely to succeed when the founder keeps their day job. Why? It's simple. It removes desperation. You're not making decisions from a place of panic. You can fund your idea with your salary and only make that big leap when it's actually a profitable project, not just a passion project. Okay, so you're speaking the language of money and you're earning more. Now it's time to make that money start working for you. This is the big game of investing, and luckily there's a clear step-by-step path to follow. This slide lays out the whole roadmap. Stage 1 is the single best investment you can ever make. Yourself. Seriously, investing in your skills and knowledge has unlimited upside. After that, you can move to Stage 2, simple, boring, broad market index funds. Stage 3, things like private deals, that's really for the pros. And the final stage, well, that's when you become the company yourself. The most important thing here is to make investing a habit, not something you think about later. The rule is incredibly simple. Pay yourself first. That means setting up an automatic transfer to invest at least 10% of every single paycheck before you even have a chance to spend it. This one habit done consistently is the engine of long-term wealth, period. All right, now for the final piece of the puzzle. And honestly, this might be the most important one. You can do everything else right, but if you get this part wrong, you will fall into the biggest money trap of our generation. It all comes down to your mindset. Let's talk about this trap of performative wealth. And we're going to use Coachella as a perfect example. We see these amazing photos all over our feeds and we feel this pressure to have that same experience, right? To show everyone we're living our best life. But there is a dirty secret behind that performance. This chart shows you the reality. Most of the influencers you see there, they are getting paid to be there. They're getting free tickets, free clothes, free travel. Meanwhile, the average person is going into debt, putting thousands of dollars on a credit card for an Instagram post that lasts for a minute, while the debt lasts for years. This is the bottom line right here. Real wealth isn't about showing off a fancy car. It's about owning the apartment building that car is parked in front of. It's about having assets that work for you while you sleep, not liabilities that just drain your bank account for a photo op. It's a fundamental shift from trying to look rich to actually thinking rich. And this little chart illustrates the core difference in that thinking. The wealthy have a fixer mindset. When a freeloader sees a problem, their first reaction is, "Ugh, that's not my fault." A fixer sees the exact same problem and asks, how can I solve this? Because they know that inside every single problem, there's a potential profit. This is the ultimate mental reframe. You know that sinking feeling you get when a huge, messy problem lands on your desk? You need to train your brain to feel excitement instead. Because that problem, that inconvenience, that challenge, that's where the money is. If you can be the one to solve it, you can be the one to profit from it. So after all of this, what's the biggest takeaway? It's that building wealth isn't about luck. It's a game with a new set of rules for our generation. And that game is happening all around you, every single day, in every problem just waiting to be solved, and every fearful market waiting for a smart player. The only question left is, are you ready to play?